Every day, excessive delays and denials from big insurers keep patients from accessing the care they need. And when care is urgent, these delays can be disastrous. These practices cost billions in wasteful spending, driving up costs for American families. But while big insurers put up barriers, America's hospitals and health systems are in your corner, navigating endless reviews and appeals to get you the care you need when you need it most. It's time to curb these harmful practices and put the focus back on patients. Brought to you by the Coalition to Strengthen America's Healthcare.
We're back here on the Yaffee program, News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Glad you've joined the show today. So I used to start this segment at the top of the next hour, but kind of moving things a little bit. Not that, I mean, whatever. You listen to the whole show anyway, right? Right. But you listen to the whole show, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, let's get to it. The first segment now of the Sunday News Show's recap. Yes, recapping what was talked about on those Sunday news talk shows like Fox News Sunday, CNN State of the Union, NBC's Meet the Press, and others. So you don't have to watch it. I give you the highlights. I give you the analysis. I tell you what you need to know the next day because I give you Sundays off. So it's my public service to you. No taxpayer funds were used to fund this segment, and you're welcome. You're welcome. So I wanted to play this cut from Scott Besson of Meet the Press. And the reason why is he's asked about Trump's comments on Robert Mueller. So Robert Mueller, head of the Mueller report, former head of the FBI. Obviously, Trump doesn't like him. We holding the whole Russia stuff. But he died over the weekend. It wasn't like he was murdered or anything. He had an illness and he was older. And Trump still posts on Truth Social that he's glad he's dead. I really wish Trump wouldn't do this. You all know this. You have to rise above this, especially if you're the leader of the free world. I understand why Trump doesn't like Mueller, but I can't just get behind the microphone and defend a very petty and bad and immoral comment just because, I voted for Trump, so I have to defend it. I'm not going to do that. But Scott Besson, who is Trump's Treasury Secretary, was asked about this. So, Austin, go ahead and play the Scott Besson cut I sent you.
Kristen, I was with the president in the green room at Davos, and there was a video playing of the what may have been an illegal raid on his home at Mar-a-Lago. They are going through his wife's wardrobe, and I watched the look in his eye, and I think that neither one of us can understand what has been done to the president and to his family.
But to the question of the president's post, I mean, Robert Mueller didn't order that raid. Is it appropriate for the president to celebrate the death of any American citizen,
again,
Mr. Secretary?
I think that given what has been done to President Trump and his family, it is impossible for either of us to understand what he has been through.
So just say it's not appropriate. It's not appropriate. I mean, I understand that he's a part of the administration. I even understand his argument there. But it's just not appropriate. Okay? I can't defend it. But then you have the other side of this as well, where Hakeem Jeffries is the House Minority Leader. And he was also asked about this, and his response is a little beyond reason as well. So there's always the over response. So, Austin, go ahead. Can you skip down to cut 4 of Hakeem Jeffries? Play cut 4 of Hakeem Jeffries for me.
I want to ask you before I let you go about something the president just put on Truth Social this morning. He said, now with the death of Iran, the greatest enemy America has is the radical left, highly incompetent Democratic Party. Your response?
When you really need care, you need 24/7 access to a care team, not a maze of paperwork from a third party. Every day, America's hospitals and health systems show up for you. Navigating healthcare can feel overwhelming, but you can count on real doctors, real nurses, real people, providing quality, around-the-clock care when you need it most. They're in your corner, in communities across America. Your neighbors, your lifelines, right beside you, holding your hand and helping find answers. That's what putting patients first actually means. Learn more at strengthenhealthcare.org. Brought to you by the Coalition to Strengthen America's Healthcare.
The NFL Draft, presented by Bud Light, is coming to Pittsburgh, and it's your chance to witness the future of the game for free from April 23rd to April 25th. Feel the energy of the NFL Draft. See the Vince Lombardi Trophy and Super Bowl rings. Meet NFL players and legends. Enjoy interactive games and live music performances, and be there as the future of the NFL takes center stage. The NFL Draft starts April 23rd. Register for free entry at NFL.com/draft access today.
Donald Trump should keep his reckless mouth shut before he gets somebody killed.
I'm sorry, but who's been killed in recent years when it came to political violence? Charlie Kirk, a Trump supporter. Trump himself almost assassinated a couple of different times. Other examples as well. So it's hard for me to hear Hakeem Jeffries on his high horse about this kind of stuff and say Trump's going to be the one who gets someone killed when all the violence has been directed at Trump and Trump supporters, at least the vast majority of it. So, unfortunately, I wish we didn't have this kind of rhetoric. I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon, unfortunately. By the way, the other big news today is that ICE agents are going to be at airports helping TSA. So Tom Homan is in charge of that. He was on the Sunday News Talk Show, so we'll get to that and much more next year on the Yaffee program. Stay with us.
It's the Yaffee program on WVNN.
So I actually think President Trump is pretty smart by deploying ICE agents to airports to help out because they're already getting paid. So they can help in some ways. Obviously, it's trolling the Democrats a little bit. But really, it can show the American people that, which they should already know, there's nothing to be afraid of when it comes to ICE agents. Now, Trump had said, he goes, I want to thank ICE because they stepped in so strongly. They'll do great. And if that's not enough, I'll bring in the National Guard. We're not going to have Democrats destroy our country. So it's good. I mean, he's acting quickly, which I think is a good thing. And it shows, it really puts the onus on Democrats to actually fund things. But he also said this, which I really do think, maybe you think I'm wrong. I really do think this undermines his complete argument. Because he says he doesn't want these ICE agents to wear masks. He said, ICE has done very well. I'm a big believer that they should be able to wear masks when they go and hunt down murderers, criminals, and others. But for purposes of the airport, I've requested that they take off the masks, and I believe they are willing to do that. Here's the problem. There are going to be leftists at the airports who take pictures of these ICE agents, even if they're not doing anything, even if they're just standing there. They're going to take pictures. They're going to want to try to dox them. And it's going to be on social media, and they'll be harassed. That's the problem. It's not even just the dangerous criminals that you have to worry about when it's doxing ICE agents. Unfortunately, it's radical leftists who do things like cause problems in Minneapolis that want to cause problems everywhere else. I hate to say that. I wish it weren't true in the United States of America in 2026. But unfortunately, because the base of the Democrat Party has gone nuts, it is true. So we'll talk about that and more. You are listening to the Yaffee program. We talk faith, culture, and politics Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. here on News Talk 770 a.m., 92.5 FM, WVNN. Also, it's Monday, so let's continue. We have more of the Sunday News Show's recap. recapping what was talked about, what happened on those Sunday news talk shows. So you don't have to worry about it. In fact, I'm pretty sure Dale Jackson watches Hallmark movies, instead, which is fine. Whatever you want to do. I mean, you do you. You really should go to church. I have a friend who watches reruns of Gunsmoke for some reason Sunday mornings. Whatever you want to do. I give you Sundays off. I get the highlights for you from the interviews, everything else, and then I recap it for you today. And it's free to you. What can I say? What else can I do for you? And I'm talking about shows like Fox News Sunday, Meet the Press, and others. And one of those shows is CNN State of the Union. And I saw that Tom Homan, who is Trump's border czar, doing a really good job. Trump has now put him in charge of ICE going to airports. So he was on CNN State of the Union with Dana Bash, and he was talking about, one, trying to make a deal to end this partial government shutdown. And then later on, they talk about helping TSA agents at airports. So go ahead if you can. Austin, play Tom Homan cut 1 for me.
What exactly is the White House offering Democrats right now on potential new policy changes for ICE and CPB to end this impasse?
I don't think it's really significant policy changes. I mean, I'm invited there just to explain operations and how we conduct business within ICE and CBP. But I truly believe this isn't really a policy issue. I mean, we have the same policies in place we had during Obama and Biden and Clinton and Bush 1 and Bush 2. So the policies really hasn't changed. It's the execution of those policies that we're talking about. And look, we're having good conversations, but more conversations need to be had because we certainly can't surrender ICE's authorities and their congressionally mandated job. So we're having those discussions. It's really about policy execution more than policy.
No, it brings up a good point there, at least I think. These policies have been in place forever. It's just President Trump actually decided to enforce the law. And what Democrats, he's giving Democrats more the benefit of the doubt than I am. It really didn't matter what Republicans did here. They came to the negotiating table, at least in the beginning, making demands they knew Republicans were going to say no to. They knew Republicans weren't going to agree to this. They knew this would cause a government shutdown. They knew it would create pain at the airports, and that was on purpose. So go ahead and play a Tom Homan cut 2 for me.
Well, but as you know, they want it to be codified, things like agents wearing masks, the ability or the requirement to say who they are, and things of that nature. So you're saying that the White House is not open to changing any of that?
No. I'm saying the majority of it's about policy execution. We're talking about, as you see on the letter that was out the other night, we're talking about identification, badge number, name, either or, because Border Patrol has the name on their uniform. ICE doesn't have a name on uniforms. We're talking about clear identification. We're talking about, access to detention and things like that. So, a lot of these things, as I explained to the senators, a lot of these things are already in play. And, identification has been ever since Minneapolis. And I'm trying to explain that the situation on the ground isn't the same as it was in Minneapolis. We're doing target enforcement operations, and the detention standards are the same they were in the last administration, but there was a problem with access to detention standards that problem doesn't exist anymore. So a lot of the changes after Minneapolis has already been implemented, and that's what I'm there to explain to him.
He comes off as very reasonable to me. And he's right. And this is a point I've been making for weeks now. Republicans and Trump have already made concessions with the Democrats on this, and yet they still shut things down. That's why I'm so skeptical of it. Now, Trump is throwing a wrench in it today because now he's demanding they pass the SAVE Act. So that's a poor strategy. The Democrats are never going to agree to that. And I think they should. I just don't think they will. I'm going to play Tom Homan cut 3 for me.
You, sir, are going to be in charge. How is that going to work? Are ICE agents going to move into American airports starting tomorrow, Monday?
Yes. And I'm currently working on the plan now of execution, working with the director of ICE and the administrator at TSA, the acting administrator. So we'll put together a plan today, and we'll execute tomorrow.
All right, so it's supposed to be happening right now, and Trump's commented on it, and then he was also asked, how exactly this would work, which sounds pretty reasonable to me. And I'll play some of the reaction of some of the Democrat leaders on this, but go ahead and play cut 4 of Tom Homan.
Are ICE agents even remotely trained to handle security at airports?
ICE agents receive a high level of training. And, the ICE agents are assigned at many airports across the country already. They do a lot of criminal investigation on smuggling at airports. But, there's got TSA agents covering exits, people that enter through the exits. Certainly a highly trained ICE law enforcement officer can cover an exit, makes people don't go through those exits, entering the airport through the exits. And that stuff like that relieves that TSA officer to go to screening and to reduce those lines. So wherever we can provide extra security, I don't see an ICE agent looking at an X-ray machine because they're not trained in that. But there are certain parts of security that TSA is doing that we can move them off those jobs and put them in the specialized jobs, help move those lines.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. So what you're saying is when you move ICE into airports, they are going to be just around the exits?
All right, so like I said, sounds pretty reasonable. The National Guard could do the same thing, by the way, if he has to call the National Guard. Now, all of this is completely ridiculous. It shouldn't even be to this point. The idea that we are now going to use TSA agents as a political weapon against each party. Let's just privatize this and get it over with so we don't have to deal with this anymore because it's going to happen again. Go ahead and play cut 5 of Tom Homan for me.
A question that a lot of people are asking, is it just going to be crowd control, or will ICE officers also be doing immigration enforcement while they are at the airports?
We do immigration enforcement at the airports all the time. So is that going to change? It's not going to change. This is about helping the men and women of TSA. They've lost several hundred employees. The lines are really slow because of the shutdown. This is about helping TSA do their mission and get the American public through that airport as quick as they can. Well, while adhering to all the security guidelines and the protocols, we're simply there to help TSA do their job in areas that don't need their specialized expertise, such as screening through the X-ray machine. Not training that, we won't do that. But there are roles we can play to release TSA officers from the non-significant roles, such as guarding an exit, so they can get back to the scanning machines and move people quicker. And we're just simply helping our fellow officers at TSA.
All right, so, it sounds pretty reasonable to me. It is a shame that we are at this point. And when we get back, I'll play some of the Democratic response because that's also a shame as well, really is. But I want to get your reaction. We have our Yaffee text line, as always, 866-494-9866. 866-494-WVNN. One person weighed in, said TSA should show a friendly face. No mask for ICE agents is appropriate. It would be better to not have ICE there at all if they were required to keep their masks on because it creates an intimidation factor that doesn't need to happen right now. So someone on the text line believes that it would be intimidating to see them in masks. I guess I'm just weird because I see an ICE agent, even if they're masks, and I'm not intimidated. Why? Because I'm an American citizen. What do they care about me? He's there to help. But, maybe those who are intimidated are illegal immigrants. But, with all the rhetoric right now, it's even beyond that. So you can weigh in on the text line, 866-494-9866. Right now, I got to tell you real quick about my good friends at Jay's Appliance Outlet. I keep telling you, so many people, they'll come to me, and they'll be like, thank you, Yaffee. And I'm like, well, you're welcome. What did I do? You told me about Jay's Appliance Outlet. I'm like, oh, nice. They're awesome, right? Yes, people go there if they need a new appliance, but they get it for a great deal, and they're not used to such good customer service like what you get there at Jay's Appliance Outlet. So they're located off Highway 72 in Athens. They have amazing deals for you when it comes to washers and dryers, scratch and dent deals as well. So I want you to check out their showroom or give them a call today. Dial #250 and say the keywords Jay's Appliance Outlet. Pound 250, Jay's Appliance Outlet. Go today, and when you do, let them know Yaffee sent you. More of the Sunday news shows recap next on the Yaffee program.
You're listening to Yaffee on WVNN.
Welcome back to the Yaffee program. Glad you have joined the show. This show really is. It's like a vaccine from radical leftism. You listen to me. You're inoculated. It's great. The one vaccine you definitely can trust is this show. By the way, let's do it one more segment here of the Sunday News Show's recap. Recapping what was talked about, what happened on those Sunday news talk shows. So you don't have to worry about watching them. My public service to you. You're welcome. Had someone weigh in on our Yaffee text line said Democrats need to be held responsible and accountable for shutting down part of our security apparatus during a time of increased terrorism. If they really cared about the American people more than they cared about hating Trump, this wouldn't even be a discussion. That was Aaron weighing in. Another person said this, though, said, I should be allowed to wear masks because the left-leaning public will continue to intimidate them, which is an interesting point. I understand that. Speaking about the left, Hakeem Jeffries, who's the Democrat leader in Congress, I just want you to remember, I played Tom Homan cuts in the last segment. He sounded very reasonable in all of this. And then you play Hakeem Jeffries here, and it's the opposite of reasonable. But go ahead and play Hakeem Jeffries cut one. He was on CNN State of the Union. Play cut one for me, Austin.
Well, good morning. Great to be with you. There are three things that have been true since Donald Trump and Republicans came back into power last January. Life is more expensive, life is more chaotic, and life is more extreme. The last thing that the American people need are for untrained ICE agents to be deployed at airports all across the country, potentially to brutalize or in some instances kill them. We've already seen how ICE conducts itself. These are untrained individuals when it comes to doing the current job that they have for the most part, let alone deploying them in close exposure in highly sensitive situations at airports across the country.
Oh, my gosh. Are we really going to play this game where they think ICE is going to start brutalizing American citizens, killing them in airports? I know I don't have to remind you listening, but I'll remind Hakeem Jeffries. Those who were killed in Minneapolis, they were killed because ICE agents feared for their lives and they acted in self-defense. Whether it's a good shoot or not, that's what happened. It is not the intention, which I shouldn't even have to say this. It was not the intention of ICE agents to kill anyone. They don't want to kill anybody. But the idea that we need to be afraid now because they're in airports. If I see an ICE agent somewhere, believe it or not, fear is not the first thing I think. I'm sorry. Go ahead and play Hakeem Jeffries cut two for me.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Republicans have decided that they would rather force TSA agents to work without pay, inconvenience millions of Americans all across the country, and now potentially expose them to untrained ICE agents and create chaos at airports throughout the land rather than get ICE agents under control. Our basic premise and value proposition from the very beginning has been simple. ICE should conduct itself like every other law enforcement agency in the country. But if Republicans are unwilling to get to an agreement in that regard, the one thing we can do immediately are to make sure that TSA agents are paid. And we know, Dana, there's bipartisan support for that. Senator Ted Cruz and Senator John Kennedy have recently indicated that they would support moving in that direction. Let's bring those bills to the floor in the House and the Senate tomorrow.
So dumb. I just have to say, this whole idea that, Republicans, it's unfortunate what they're doing. Actually, as the bill was going through the appropriations process, both Democrats and Republicans agreed to it. It was at the very last minute that Democrats decided, no, we're going to use this. And we're going to use TSA agents as political weapons because of ICE and stuff. And then they made demands at the last minute without negotiating that they knew Republicans would not agree to. So they believe this helps them. They believe the pain that they are inflicting on the American people helps them in the midterms. That's why they're doing this. Go ahead and play cut 3 of Hakeem Jeffries for me.
Well, we never approach these things that are in front of us with respect to government funding in the context of leverage. Our approach is, what is the appropriate use of taxpayer dollars? And we believe that taxpayer dollars should be used to make life more affordable for the American people, not brutalize or kill them or violently target law-abiding immigrant families, which is what we know ICE agents have been doing. And so at this point in time, more than 30 days in to the Trump Republican Department of Homeland Security shutdown, I think the most appropriate course of action is to fund TSA, fund FEMA, fund the Coast Guard, fund our cybersecurity professionals so that, Republicans stop holding the American people hostage and these hardworking civil servants because of the Republican unwillingness, at least to date, to get ICE under control. Listen, we believe that immigration enforcement in this country should be fair, just, and humane. And Donald Trump promised that he was going to go after the worst of the worst, violent felons who are here.
You can cut it off there, Austin. I just had a comment on the beginning of that where he says, we never do these things thinking about leverage. He said that with a straight face. This is all about leverage. They want to use the shutdown as leverage to defund ICE. We don't think about leverage. Sure. All right, going to move on to what's trending coming up next here on the Yaffee program.
The Yaffee program.